All eyes are on the release of quarterly inflation figures in the coming hours, the last piece of key data the Reserve Bank will consider before deciding on interest rates next month. Many economists believe a rate cut will be on the cards if underlying inflation comes in at 0.5% or below.
It's a number that could not only deliver some far-reaching economic consequences, but it could also have a major political impact in the lead-up to this year's federal election. So with that in mind, let's go straight again to our political reporter, Isobel Roe, who is at Parliament House for us. Good morning, Isobel. What are economists expecting out of today?
Well, they are expecting some good news on inflation, but what that means exactly for people with mortgages and for the government remains to be seen. Inflation, which we know reflects the cost of goods and services, has been coming down, but it hasn't come down quite enough for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates. Now, the trimmed mean inflation, which was at 3.5% last quarter in September, is expected to come down just slightly today. The more it comes down, the more likely it is that the Reserve Bank then cuts interest rates and is able to deliver some relief to those people with mortgages. But there are other factors at play here. Unemployment is low, and Reserve Banks often don't cut interest rates when unemployment is low. There is also the factor of government incentives and subsidies which have been given to people via electricity bills, which many people argue are contributing to inflation. Jim Chalmers, the Treasurer, has been out in the last couple of days with some quiet confidence that these numbers are what they're looking for today. We've also heard from Labor frontbencher Amanda Rishworth this morning, who says that what the government is doing on inflation is working.
We've been working really hard to make sure that we are fighting inflation, at the same time supporting people with cost of living measures and making sure that we're seeing wages go up and, of course, making sure there's jobs for people. So this has been the really important work our government's been doing, and doing what we can to fight inflation and give the best possible conditions for the Reserve Bank to make its decision.
Now, what the Albanese government would like to happen is that there would be a rate cut in the next couple of months. That potentially might lead them to call an early election. People are seeing some sort of cost of living relief, and in the hopes of the government, they don't then take that out at the ballot box. That would be the scenario that Labor would like. However, that may not play out. There may not be an interest rate cut, and many people think that that will lead the government to go full term. So having an election at the latest possible moment, which is in mid to end of May.
All right, let's see. Isobel Roe reporting there from Canberra.
Well, notorious underworld figure Sam Abdulrahim has been shot dead in Melbourne's northern suburbs, with police saying they'll leave no stone unturned to find those responsible. Reporter Mietta Adams joins us now from police headquarters in Melbourne. Mietta, what happened yesterday?
Well, good morning, Bridget. Underworld sources have told the ABC that it was only a matter of time before Sam Abdulrahim would meet his death, and yesterday was that day. At around 10:30 in the morning, outside a car park near an apartment complex in Preston in Melbourne's north, the shooting occurred. It's understood that he was with a woman at the time, which is likely to be his girlfriend, and she administered CPR but was unable to revive him. It's also understood that a white Porsche quickly left the scene and was found burnt out in a nearby suburb of Reservoir shortly after. But Bridget, Sam Abdulrahim is one of Melbourne's most notorious underworld figures. He was also known as the Punisher in his boxing career, and he's had convictions since 2009. But tensions really ramped up at around 2016 due to his alleged involvement of the murder of crime figure Kadir Oz, and since then there's been multiple attempts at his life, including a very most notably 4 gunshots across his chest in 2022, where he was put in hospital in a critical condition but managed to survive. There's also been multiple shootings targeted at homes and businesses firebombed in recent years as well. But yesterday at the crime scene, Bridget, family and friends of Sam Abdulrahim gathered around mourning their loss. There's also been tributes on social media for him, but for now, police will be investigating multiple lines of inquiry. One of those is expected to be investigating with the Lunar Task Force to see if there's any links to the illicit tobacco trade here in Victoria. Police also say they'll be increasing their patrols in the area to reassure the public of their safety. But they say that they will be looking and leaving no stone unturned to find who is responsible. They say it's likely that there'll be multiple people who are responsible, but for now, investigations will continue into exactly what caused this notorious gangland figure to meet his death.
Mieta, thanks very much. Let's get more news now. Emma's back with us.
Thanks, Bridget. The UN Security Council has been told that moves by Israel to ban the UN Agency for Palestinians will jeopardise the ceasefire in Gaza. UNRWA provides about half of the aid going to Gazans and also runs schools, shelters and medical clinics. A ban on its operations goes into effect tomorrow, and UNRWA staff have already started to leave its offices. Israel accuses UNRWA of being infiltrated by the Hamas militant group and being complicit in terrorist activities, which UNRWA denies. A new trial designed to prevent cognitive decline and dementia has shown promising results in older Australians. The largest internet-based trial ever conducted to prevent dementia found personalised lifestyle interventions like physical activity, nutrition and brain training help prevent cognitive decline. Researchers say it may prove to be a game changer in the treatment of the disease.
We think this could be the slip, slop, slap of brain health, because dementia is the most feared disease.
14 neo-Nazis have been granted bail after an Australia Day march in Adelaide, during which they allegedly made White Australia chants and displayed a Nazi symbol. The leader of the group, 31-year-old Thomas Sewell, will remain behind bars after refusing to sign his bail forms. A supporter of the men, who spoke to the media outside court, was later arrested and charged with 2 counts of displaying a Nazi symbol. The accused will all appear in court later this year. The Northern Territory's prison population has reached crisis levels, with inmates locked up in cells with up to 16 people at a time. There are now more than 2,600 adult prisoners in correctional facilities and police watch houses, which is a record in the NT. The ABC understands police watch houses have become so overcrowded that prisoners are sleeping on mattresses on the floor, often in hot and filthy conditions with limited access to showers. The NT government says it's working to urgently expand correctional facilities. A Brisbane judge is expected to deliver his verdict today in a case against 14 members of a fringe religious group charged over the death of an 8-year-old girl. Elizabeth Strews, a type 1 diabetic, died in her Toowoomba home 3 years ago after her insulin was withheld. Her father and the leader of the group are waiting to learn their fate after being charged with her murder, while 12 other members have been charged with manslaughter. Underground work has stopped on part of Snowy 2.0 after workers raised safety concerns about refuge chambers. These chambers are used as a last resort during an underground emergency, providing shelter for workers when it's not possible to evacuate a tunnel. The project has been hit by a string of setbacks and cost blowouts, including one tunnel boring machine becoming stuck for nearly a year. And in some good news, atomic scientists have adjusted the Doomsday Clock closer than ever to midnight. Military applications of AI, Russian nuclear threats amid its invasion of Ukraine, global tensions and climate change have all been cited as risks of a global catastrophe. The bulletin of the atomic scientists have set the clock to 89 seconds before midnight, the theoretical point of annihilation.
Concerning? Well, the Mona Lisa is set to get its own room as part of a major renovation of the Louvre Museum in Paris. The world's most visited museum is plagued with overcrowding and outdated facilities and hasn't undergone a major renovation since the 1980s. However, the project, expected to cost up to $1.3 billion, could take a decade to complete. So we need to book our trips for 2035 and then we'll be set to go.
I want to know how they work out the clock.